How to tell your kids the truth about. If you are new here, my name is Hillary, and in our family, we actually do not participate in the tradition of Santa Claus. I've done a few posts explaining why we don't participate in that tradition, and a lot of people assume that when I say we don't participate in the tradition of Santa Claus, that means we don't talk about Santa at all, or completely shelter our child from knowing what Santa or who Santa is. But that's just not realistic. We just don't partake in the tradition in the sense that we don't pretend that he is real. We talk about the true story of Saint Nicholas and the spirit of giving, and because we are Christians, we tell the story of Jesus's birth. Anytime I share this, anytime I talk about this, I get people in the comments who say, I am partaking in this tradition and I don't want to anymore, but I don't know how to stop. Their convictions have changed on the issue and they want to take a different path, but they don't know how. So the perspectives that I'm going to be sharing are through the lens of a person whose family did participate in this tradition, and as someone who found out the truth very, very young in a way that was kind of devastating to me. I found out because a classmate of mine told me, and I don't hold resentment toward that person because I don't think that she was being malicious. I think that she was genuinely just speaking her truth from a place of confusion. You know, she saw all of her friends talking about Santa Claus as if he was this real person. And we were 6 at the time. I was in 1st grade. So when she started pushing back and sharing her beliefs that, you know, Santa Claus was not real, I went home to my mom asking for the truth. And I'm so proud of the fact that my mom told me the truth. So here's what I'll say if you're a parent who is thinking that they might have different convictions on this matter in comparison to those that they had when they first started Christmas with their kids. I don't think that it is wrong to have different convictions and want to do things differently. I don't think that makes you selfish. I think that that sets a good example to your children for wanting to rethink your perspectives and make changes accordingly. At first, I was gonna maybe do skits or specific script suggestions, but everybody's child is different, and I don't think that you can really stick to a script when it comes to stuff like this, because you have to be sensitive to your child, their feelings, and their temperament. It's just going to vary from house to house and family to family. But when my mom told me the truth, the first thing that she did was apologize. She apologized for the way that I had to find out. And she began by telling the story of St. Nicholas, like the history of St. Nicholas. But I really appreciated that she apologized to me, because I think a lot of people really try to undermine the feelings of children when it comes to these issues. There are a lot of kids who, when they find out the truth, genuinely feel that they have been lied to or manipulated. Does every child feel this way? No, but a lot of children do. So I think it's important to acknowledge those feelings if they are present, and discuss, that your intentions were to create magic for your child, while also acknowledging that those intentions maybe didn't have the impact that you were hoping for. How you have that conversation with your child, especially if they're very young, is just going to depend. But when we started discussing with our son the fact that Santa was pretend, the way that we phrased it was, yes, Santa is a pretend character like Elsa or Tony Stark or Captain America. He's a pretend character. We play pretend Santa for your house, for your family. The gifts come from mommy and daddy. We play Santa by giving you gifts at Christmas. And that conversation started when he was about 3. When it comes to having this conversation with your kids, whether you've been doing the tradition for a long time or a short period of time, I think ultimately comes down to 3 things. First, discussing the why of Santa Claus in the first place. Talking about that history, helping them understand where this tradition comes from, and really focusing on the importance of giving and the gift of giving at Christmas time. The second thing is acknowledging the potential for some hurt feelings and validating those feelings in your children. Help them to feel seen and allow them the space to grieve that loss, because for a lot of kids, it truly is a loss for them. Again, not every child, but some children will grieve the loss of what they perceive to be true. And then the third is establishment of some new traditions that they can get excited about. So maybe that's in focusing on the giving element of Christmas and doing something like creating shoeboxes for Operation Christmas Child, or getting them really involved in the selection of gifts for family members and friends. These are hard conversations, and I don't want to downplay them by any means. Focus on keeping conversations as open as possible and approaching them in a way that is age appropriate. Use age appropriate language, but be clear. Don't leave room for confusion. If you're wrestling with this, you're going to ultimately have to ask yourself, how do I want my child to find out the truth about this situation? Do I want my child to risk finding out at school from a friend or an acquaintance? Or do I want to be the one to have this conversation first with my child? I recorded myself talking and doing the rest of my makeup, and then my phone glitched and didn't save. It's fine. Anyway, for those of you who are wrestling with this, who are thinking that you might want to change your traditions, I just want you to know that you do not have to participate in the tradition of Santa Claus to have a magical Christmas. These conversations are hard, and they might come with tears, frustration, even anger, or they might be okay. Regardless of what you end up deciding to do and how you choose to celebrate Christmas this year and in the years moving forward, I wish you the most blessed Christmas season and a very happy new year.